Some others equate God and men. They equate God and men. Worship is exclusively for God. God should be in the highest place in your life. God should have the highest place. It doesn't matter what a man, do. Let God. And when we say God will be in the highest place, we're not saying put around pictures in your house, Jesus, to show that it is in your heart. That is in your heart. You place God at the highest place. So if someone threatens you, you know that I have God. You don't run on men. Listen to me. Worship of God is at the highest place. And that's what God requires from you. That highest place in your life, in your heart, belongs to God and no one else. And nothing must compete with that place. Anything that competes with that place will go down. You know why? God is a jealous God. When he said, I am the Lord your God. You must not make any graven image. That's the second commandment, Exodus 20. You must not make any graven image of anything, whether in heaven or on earth or beneath the earth. Any image of anything. He said, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. God, the thing God hates is being, putting side by side God. He said, I'm a jealous God. And may you not see God jealous in the name. Let it be that God's jealousy will only fight for you in the positive. Fight for you against your enemies. So that place, nobody else possesses life. God alone is the one worship. So you recognize him as the only true God and give him your full devotion. That also means giving him your full devotion. Full devotion. Full devotion. You're devoted to God. When people testify of you, how many people can someone testify of you as being a Christian? I mean outside of church. How will you know you're a Christian if someone can testify of you as a Christian out of church? Because in church, everyone pretends. As a matter of fact, a lot of people in church have two lives. Two lives. It is duality. There's a life for church, life for house. There's a life for office. There's a life for outside. A lot of people in church have two lives. They live differently. Now, yes, you may not come to church and do everything and show the way you live at home, but the slim difference between your life outside and your life at church, the better Christian you are. Which means your job is to work to ensure that there will be uniformity with your life outside the church, your life in the church. Because what we have is a lot of people, their life in the church, oh, they are all nice, all bubbly. Go out. People. And God, that's why we say worshiping God is in spirit and in truth. Because God is the one that sees all the truth. So you to church, and when God sees the truth, God may want the pastor say, beware of this person, this one. Because people live dual lives. That's why you don't judge people by what you see. There's one grace you must ask God for, is discernment. Grace to discern people. Do not judge people by looking at their faces. Do not. That's too much. If you ask, when I took over the pastor of the church, I asked God, I said, Lord, give me discerning grace, discernment. Lord, give me discernment. And God give it to me. You need discerning grace to operate as a Christian. If not, you will suffer. People will come and greet you and bend down, whereas they are ravenous wolves, according to the Bible, outside of the church. So your life, ensure that the difference with your life outside and your life inside is slim. Let it be slim. That's how the hard work we're doing. But some people, their own is as wide as from Jericho, Samaria. Wide. Totally different. Totally different. God will give us grace in Jesus' mighty name. And number two thing to know about worship. Worship must be in spirit and in truth. John 4:24. Worship must be in spirit and in truth. John 4:24. God is a spirit, and they must worship him in spirit and in truth. is not about location. We've mentioned that, or ritual. It is what happens in church. Worship will require the highest openness, highest level. Do you know what makes you a true worshiper of God? You're open before God. You're open. See, tell God the thing troubling you. Say it to God. Don't hide. Don't hide. Let me tell you one thing. When you hide, Satan torments you. You know, Satan thrives secrecy. Or you don't know. You're hiding something. The devil is afflicting you somewhere and you can't open up to God. Satan will deal with you. He'll be tormenting you. But once you, Satan is a blackmailer. People don't know the devil. He'll be say, if you, and you'll be hiding until he makes you become a stranger to who you should be. But when Satan comes to threaten you, you go and open up and say, Lord, this is who I am. Lord, this is what I did. Oh, Father, help me. I know I am missing before God in worship. Worship to God must be, you say, God, you know, it's my weakness. Tell God. And if you tell him, be willing to do what he tells you. That's where the work is now. You tell God. There's nothing God is. He said, Lord, this is my weakness. Look at what I do. I know this is to say, Lord, help me. Then in helping you, you begin to take steps. Or you stay with the Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost, what I do? How do I overcome this thing? Lord. And if you surrender, that's why we're saying worship, you're surrendered. You're ready. You're ready to do what God. A lot of believers are not ready to do what God said. They don't want to, because they know in mind that told me they don't want to. Prayer for a spouse. She refused to pray for a spouse. She said she's afraid of the person God will not give her. God will not give her one bro that wear red upon. That was what bothered her. So she didn't want to ask God. Are you listening? She didn't want to ask God. It was about, funnily enough, she had asked God. God won't give you that kind of bro. Won't still give you, because thank God, I don't believe God, I beg. God would not have given her that kind of person, but she was afraid. So she didn't tell God. She was doing, I said, okay, whatever it is, I will tell God. Like me, I said, Lord, if you're telling me to do this, so that God, see, this one, I can't, there are certain things that are just your desire. Just there's a way, God, if I can take anything, but you see this one, I say, Lord, I don't want, I watched him the other day, some martyrs that were to be killed. Those days, people who knew Jesus, who served Jesus, they are Christians, they're being killed in Rome, where they throw them to animals, they fight some beast. And this particular man of God, that was, they already know they were going to throw them. He was praying that a particular animal, I've forgotten whether he said they shouldn't give him a tiger or something. He said, God, I'm ready to die, but let it not be a tiger. I can't remember if it's tiger. But one of these wild cats. He said, let it not be this. He said, Lord, I can take any other animal, but not this one. And on the day of the execution, it was that particular. Other people were killed by other things. But when it came to his own, that was exactly, that animal was what? No, he wasn't giving that animal. It was a different animal. He told God, any other animal apart from this one. So, certain things about your nature. You understand? God understands. Listen to me. God understands certain things you can't cope with. Certain things you won't be able to manage. And he will help you out of it. That's why in worship, you need to be open to God. Tell God. Tell God. Now, a child that keeps hiding things from the parents. If a child keeps hiding things from the parents too much, the ones that hide things from the parents are the ones that suffer in the hand of bullies. True or false? They will tell you, if you tell anybody, I will kill you. And the child will be afraid and refuse to speak. But the child will speak. Go home and say, that is see, the child will be delivered. So that's the kind of people who have in church. They are hiding from God. They have a weakness. There are things that are to God and tell God. They don't be able to tell God. So then we say, if you tell God, look at what will happen, you will see, and they stay back. And that's Satan's strength. Once the things are done in secrecy, it's strengthening. And the strengthening of the destiny. That's why you must not hide. Worship to God must be in sincerity and before God. God will give us understanding in Jesus' name. And number 3, to know about worship. Worship is reverence and surrender. Psalm 95 and verse 6. Worship is reverence and surrender. Psalm 95 and verse 6. Worship is reverence and surrender. Reverence. 95 verse 6. Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. Worship means to bow in humility before God. To bow in humility before God. It's not about just physical bowing down, but it is a bowing down of the heart. Like I said, it's the heart, not physically. You know, a lot of people in the world we are today, because of content creation and all kinds of things, people just act, their lives are acted, so that they can post it on Facebook, upload it, whatever. Lots of men are, so you see a pastor is about to preach, he will give somebody a camera that says that angle, one down, video it very well. I'm not sure I will be ever comfortable with that kind of a thing. I've never done it before, and I will never do it. Where I will, I remember one time someone invited, I just carry it there. Then so next thing the person knelt down, carried 2 hands. Oh, I said, no, it's not necessary. No, it's not necessary. Even while, without your doing that, we have cameras, we can capture it. Are you listening to me? If we feel this moment is good, capture it. At the end of the day, we'll give you the pictures and say, these are the pictures we captured. Even it has become mechanical now. Mechanical. People are worshiping. Once they are doing something, they feel, this thing I'm doing, if the whole world sees it, they will know. You see some people come in, they come out in the morning up and grateful. Oh, Jehovah, prayer they've not prayed. Oh my God. You see, most of the people that post on media, they have not prayed. Take it from me, 100%. They have not prayed. They are doing what we call creating perception. They want people to see them as, let people see me as a Christian. Who pray, they don't make noise. I tell you the truth. When you're praying, one word won't come out of your mouth. You're taking charge. But those ones that will come, they say, Father, this morning, oh, the blessing, they will pick one prayer somewhere, post one single prayer they've not prayed. So they will not post and say, God, this is my prayer for the day. Off they go. Come on, prayer. Is it prayer? Prayer, is it supposed to be? Is it not something that should come out of relation with God? When you bear your heart to the Lord, you stay before the Lord, His presence rubs off on you. So people come up with all kinds of post prayers, things they don't do. Fear all these postings, so it won't destroy you. You will now say, look at this person. They will post, how nice they do something fake. It's just as they are doing it, they'll feel like this thing I'm doing, it will capture many likes. Let me quickly, cover. Just help me hold camera. I know that people who do content for comedy, those ones are different. But normal people, and you see believers doing things just for people to think they are spiritual. Should people think you're spiritual, or should know you're spiritual? You're a Christian. So when we say worship is bowing down in humility before God, not just what you say. There are people who have different ways. Some people, when they see somebody down or kneel down, they say, hey, this pen is touching. He may not be touching anything. He may even slip off from there. So don't be deceived. Are you listening to me? Do not be deceived. There's a way I operate. See, I don't try to copy what people are doing. I do. Whenever I want to do anything with God, my heart comes into play first. So I don't want to let people think I'm spiritual. Now, there are people it flows with. Are you listening to me? There are people, for instance, there are people who, before they preach, they must sit and pray. That's how they've known God. I saw in a man of God saying that, he said, if he doesn't need that to pray, that will not be prayer. He doesn't believe I will pray. Whereas, I'm this kind of person, I will lay down and be praying. So, it will be strange. I just feel, but it's my comfortable position. And one thing in prayer is your comfortable position. That's what. So until I heard a man of God recently said his best praying is lying down. He said he won't sleep. On my own, if it's in there, I took my Lipton and I'll be awake. But if not, if it's there, I'm tired, I'll sleep. He lies down, and that's his best position. So some people may now come in and see you, say, look at, As a pastor, you're supposed to kneel down. And no, it doesn't have to be. Worship of God is the heart. Is the heart. Once your heart is aligned, God accepts whatever you're doing. But then, at least in your lifetime, you have to lie down. There's a way God will overwhelm you. Natural response, lie flat before God. There are times you why lying before God, kneeling before God, they are all good acts of worship. But what I'm saying, people make it can be mechanical as well. So don't just copy it. If you're ever going to kneel before the Lord, let it be from your heart. You know, you can be kneeling before, whereas in your heart you're standing. Pastor told us a story about a young boy. I don't know what happened in class. He was in class. The teacher told him to stand up. And justice. What he felt, what is telling him, he is wrong. It's an injustice against him. So stand up. If you don't stand up, so the boy now stood up and was looking at the teacher. I am standing up, but I'm sitting down inside. He said, in my heart, I'm sitting down. He said, no, I'm standing. No. Yes, if I don't stand up, you will have a case against me to obey you. But I want you to know that even though I'm standing, inside I'm sitting down. You know, so some people before the Lord, but inside they are standing, their mind wandering from place to place. You know, so it's not about just action. It must align with the heart. And number 4 thing about worship is a lifestyle of sacrifice. Worship is a lifestyle of sacrifice. God told Abraham, go sacrifice your only son Isaac. And in verse 5, Genesis 22, verse 5, Abraham said, and Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye with the ass, and I and the lad will go worship unto you. He was going yonder to do what? To sacrifice Isaac. And he called it worship. So worship is a lifestyle of sacrifice. Romans 12, beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, you have to present your heart a living sacrifice unto God, which is reasonable sacrifice. You know, to live life pleasing to God is sacrificial. A lot of sacrifice is involved. Serving God, a lot of sacrifice is involved. If we do it, sacrifice. But if you do it wishy-washy, when you live without making sacrifices. But if you will worship to a point that God knows, God can testify of you, like he did of Job. He said, Satan, have thou considered my servant Job, that he's a man that fears God. That's God giving testimony. He gives testimony. It is strong. Of course, this is God. God's a man that fears God. He said, this man is a righteous man. That's God. God gave testimony. And I think testimony of Moses. When he said, were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Moses that speak to me face to face. God said, Moses. So when God testifies about a man, this man have hit it right in worship. It requires, and when you look at those men sacrifice. It could be spiritual sacrifice, it could be physical. So worship is more than what we say with our lips. It also involves sacrifice. When we live holy, to live holy is a sacrifice. Life. If you will live holy, it's a sacrifice. You just refuse to live in sin. People will tempt you, drag you, but you say, no, I stand with God. People who are living holy is not because they were not tempted. I hope you know. Everybody is tempted. See, there's nobody, Satan, there's no temptation-free zone. Everybody, people who refuse to fall for the devil's temptation are doing it sacrificially. They are people of sacrifice. But people who fall for him, they are not ready to give any sacrifice to God. So when you live holy, you walk in obedience and you serve. That's worship. You walk in obedience, obeying God. Another one is obeying God. One thing you have to beg God to grow in obedience. Where God can tell you, do this, and you do it. You know, it's easy to do things when it's coming from your heart. You may think by yourself, oh, it's what I want to do. It's what I want to do. Now, what you want to do may be good things. It may be something good you want to do. That's okay. But you see, when God commands you, it takes more from you. Because at this time, God, he just tells you, this is what I want you to do. And if you obey God, it's always pleasing to God. And whatever God, the reward is already by just waiting. He has already prepared the reward. And he will ask